right, ready? Puppies! No, no. Ready? You gotta sit. You gotta sit. Thank you. Okay, and you sit up. No, no, no. Woo. Sit. Thank you. There, are we ready? Puppies! 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 No, no. You gotta sit down. Are we ready? Is everyone gonna look this time? Are we all gonna look this time? You going to? Okay. Puppies! Yeah, puppies! Puppies! Sit here. Is there room? Alright. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kara, and this is my current litter of Bernedoodles. Their parents are Paisley and Gus, and they will be 8 weeks old tomorrow. So they're almost ready to go home. Some of them have homes, but some of them don't. So if you're interested in adding one of these guys to your family, you can send me a message. Today I'm going to do a little Q&A. Hopefully it's not too windy. Hopefully you can hear me. I put a question box up on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can look me up. It's just Kara's Canines. I'll have the link in the description box down below. So I put a question box on my Instagram and some people left me some questions. And I thought I'd also just answer some of my most asked questions. I wrote them down on a list because I film on my phone. So, alright, the first question is, how many litters do I have in a year? This really varies. The most litters I think I've ever had was 5, but I normally have more like 2 or 3. Also, how many litters does a mom have in her lifetime? That also really varies. I think Riley has had the most litters for me. She's retired now. I think she had 5 litters, and that was quite a few. That's the most any of my dogs have ever had. Most of them have only had like 2, maybe 3 litters, but I try to not breed them a lot. They normally only have a couple litters. Alright, what was the next question? How many adults do I have? I think right now I have 12 adults. I should have counted before I started this video. But most of them don't live here at my house. Most of them live in guardian homes. So another question that I had was, how do the guardian homes work? So basically, I either purchase a puppy or one of my puppies that has been bred at my house, has been born at my house, sorry, that I decide I want to breed. I'll find a family that I think would be a good fit for them. And then they live with the family most of the time. So they grow up there, they get to know the family, and then they only really come back here when they're ready to be bred or if they're ready to have puppies. Or if the family's going on vacation and they need someone to watch the dog, then they can come here. So it's a really nice situation where the family doesn't have to pay for a dog. They get a free dog, but I get to breed them and I make the money off of the puppies. But they also have a place that they can take their dog if they need someone to watch it for a while they go on vacation or whatever. So I think it's a pretty good situation. It seems to really work out well for me. A lot of our dogs are placed with our friends and family, but we also have quite a few that have been with strangers that I had never met before, and it seems to be working out really well. So if you're interested in having one of my guardian dogs, you can send me a message and I can put you on a list. I don't have any right now that I'm looking to place in guardian homes, but in the future I probably will. Okay, the next question is, how long have I been breeding? I started breeding in 2015, so this is my 10th year breeding dogs. Another question I got was, how did I get started breeding? So my mother-in-law has bred dogs for I think 25 years now. She breeds golden retrievers, and so she's the one that helped me get started breeding. So she helps me out a lot. Whenever I have questions, I'm always like calling her or asking her to come over and help me when I have questions or I'm worried about something. All right, one of the questions was, do I train them? I do not really train them much. It's really difficult to train one puppy, let alone 12 puppies at the same time. I also have a lot of other stuff going on in my life. I try to take really good care of my dogs and I focus a lot on them, but I also have kids and we farm, so I help drive tractor quite a bit in the fall, and I just have a lot of other stuff going on, so I can't really train a whole litter of puppies very well. So no, I don't train them. Bernese are very smart, and poodles are also very smart, so typically they catch on to training pretty quickly, and I've heard people say their puppy only had one accident in the house, so they normally potty train very quickly as well. How do most people find me? Most people now find me on social media. I used to have to do a lot of advertising on different websites or in newspapers and stuff, but now pretty much everyone finds me on social media. So it's really helpful if you help share my posts and like and leave comments just to help boost the algorithm so that people can find me and find my puppies. So anytime you're able to do that, I would really appreciate it. Don't fall. What is my favorite thing about Bernese? Their markings is probably my favorite thing. The way I decided I wanted to breed Bernese was my mother-in-law showed me a picture of a Bernese mountain dog, and I instantly fell in love. I knew I had to have one, so I got my first one, Chelsea. And I really just got her as a pet, but I wanted to breed her once or twice. And so I started out breeding golden doodles because my parents have a golden doodle, and so I started breeding her, and then I got a couple other golden doodles that I was breeding, but they just really weren't my thing. And so Chelsea had a litter for me, and so then I kind of just switched over to the Bernese mountain dogs, and I'm planning to stick with the Bernese and the Bernedoodles for a long time. I don't know that I'll ever breed anything else. I really love the Bernese. They're very laid back. You might not be able to tell because there's so many of them right now, but they are really a very laid back breed. I love their markings. I think they're so pretty. And then when you mix them with the poodle, then they don't shed as much, and they're hypoallergenic, so a lot of people that have allergies can still have one of the Bernese markings, but not as much shedding, and hopefully they won't affect their allergies. Alright, the next question is, what is the hardest thing that I've experienced raising dogs? Probably just losing them. It's just part of dogs. It's part of having a dog. It's part of breeding dogs. Sometimes they don't make it. When I had to put Chelsea down, that was very, very difficult for me. And yeah, whenever a puppy dies, that's really hard. I do whatever I possibly can to save them and take good care of them, but sometimes they're too sick and they just don't make it. So that's probably the hardest part. It could also just be really stressful trying to take care of so many puppies and trying to find them good, loving homes. All the social media stuff is a whole other story that can be pretty stressful, and it's just a lot of work. Customer service, talking to a lot of people can be difficult, and some people just don't like breeders. They don't care. They don't care if you breed ethically. Some people just don't like breeders, so that can be hard sometimes too. Just worrying about them. I worry about them a lot, especially when they're so little. I worry about them getting sick or just something happening to them. Come here. So that's another really hard part, is just worrying about them. Alright, I think the last question I'm going to answer is, what all does my puppy come with? If I buy a puppy from you, what comes with my puppy? So I like to make these little goodie bags that I send home with the puppies. One of my favorite things that I put in the goodie bags is these little blankets. I rub them all over all the puppies, and then I send one home with each puppy. And I think it really brings them a lot of comfort, especially the first few days when they're really missing their siblings. They have this little blankie that smells like their siblings. Of course, I can't smell it, but puppies have a really good sense of smell, and so they can smell their siblings on these blankets. So this is one of my favorite things, but we'll go inside and I'll show you what else I put in the goodie bags. I do switch it up a little bit between every litter, but I try to keep the goodie bags pretty much the same. I like to put in a little baggie of the puppy food that they're currently on. The new owners can switch them over to whatever puppy food they want, but I think it's nice to have some of the puppy food that their bodies are used to so that you can mix it together with your new puppy food and just kind of transition them more slowly. Puppy pads, these are just always nice to have on hand. They're nice for in the car or if you're flying back with your puppy. I just think these are always good to have. Of course, the blanket that I rub on all of the siblings. And then I like to put in some little toys, something to keep them entertained, some little balls. Sometimes I put in bones or just different chew toys and some treats. And then they have all their paperwork. So they have this paper from the vet. It just explains how their vet exam went and how much they weighed and when it was. And then the vet always signs it. Whenever you buy a puppy from me, I have you sign a contract, so your copy will be in there. And then they have this little health record book. I put their date of birth and mark if they're male or female. And then I have written on here when they were dewormed and what they were dewormed with. And they'll have their vaccines in here as well. So you can just give this to your vet so that they can see what they were vaccinated with and when that was. And then if they're a purebred puppy, they'll also come with AKC paperwork. But these guys are Bernedoodles, so they don't have that AKC paperwork. So that's everything that I put in the goodie bags. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. I hope I answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, you can leave them in the comments down below this video. I'd really appreciate it if you shared this video. Like I said earlier, social media is the way that most people find me, so if you can share it, that would probably help me find homes for these guys sooner than later. So I would really appreciate that. Alright, thanks for watching.